Welcome back to the Four Podmen, the wrestling podcast we bring you each and every week on the Dynamo Podcast Network. Head over to YouTube, smash that subscribe and bell notification button. Audio versions of the show can be found wherever you pick up your audio shows: Podbean, Spotify, Apple iTunes. We're on all of them. Also, if you want to contact the show or you'd like to appear on our Collector's Corner, you can hit us up on Twitter at @TPodmen. You'll get us on Facebook, The Four Podmen, and you can also hit us up on Instagram on the shop page, Wrestling Mania Dublin. Joining me today for a special edition of the Collector's Corner, a man who has been waiting to come on this show, Sean McKiernan. Sean, how are you, my man?
Hello, how are you, man? It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on. This has been one I've been waiting to do.
Same.
This is going to be a very different Collector's Corner insofar as this man is a serious collector of DVDs.
Don't set expectations too high.
Probably has the biggest collection of DVDs that I know anyway.
In the Ballyhaise Cabin region anyway, probably.
And probably extended.
Yeah, probably young.
Tell us this, talk to us. How have you been during the lockdown and stuff like that?
Lockdown has been, it's been a little up and down. Like sometimes some days are bad, sometimes some days are better. I still be in school. Like I finished TY and it was absolutely dreadful. Like obviously you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything like that. So I used my spare time to watch wrestling, build up my collection. So yeah, I've got a part-time job as well. But I hope I have. I applied for that. I'm going on holidays next week, and I've got enough DVDs to get me through. So life is good over here in the nether region of Ballyhaise Cabin.
Nice, good to hear it. Tell us this: your fandom for wrestling and all that kind of stuff. When did it all begin? What was the trigger?
Oh, I find like talking about, what year did you start watching wrestling? It's a bit of a grey area. Because you're so young, you don't remember stuff when you're young. I'm probably going to be kicking myself after this comes out and goes, oh my God, Sean, like there was a year or two beforehand. But the earliest I remember was my brother was watching Raw, and the match that was on, I kind of just joined in like near the third or second hour. I don't know how long it was, like in 2011. I think it was 3 hours. But John Cena was facing CM Punk, and this was when CM Punk had just joined the New Nexus. I think it was like February of 2011. And since I was a child at the time, I kind of fell in love with John Cena, not in that way. Like he was my savior. Like I was kind of amazed by that. And I was just amazed by the whole production and the athleticism. It was something I'd never seen before. Like it was like a movie, like an action movie come to life. And then I just followed and kept watching. And now in 2021, I'm still doing it. Well, kind of. Raw's been terrible recently, but kind of. Yeah.
I suppose if it was the third hour or second hour of Raw that you tuned in, you probably picked the right hour, because if it had been the first hour, you might not have come back to watch again.
Yeah, I've got DVDs of those times. I think if I saw any like the stuff in the first hour, like the filler stuff, I'd probably just laugh and move on, and I'd probably be like a tennis fan or something. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. So who are the main guys apart from John Cena? Who are the guys then that you latched onto?
There was no main guys other than John Cena. I think I followed John Cena for a while, and he was like the only one. Sure, there were other guys, but John Cena was my chain gang man thing, and also a C Nation member. But I grew on to other guys like Sami Zayn back in 2015 when he was on the main roster. Randy Orton. When I was growing up, obviously I loved John Cena. My brother loved Randy Orton. Sometimes I'm a bit in and out with him. I don't appreciate some of the stuff that he did to John Cena back in the day, but CM Punk as well. Great rivalries. Brock Lesnar, I only kind of grew on. He scared me a lot because by the time I was watching, I had no idea who he was. Like I didn't have access to the network or DVDs or anything like that. So from my perspective, he was just this guy, and he just waddled on TV and he just murdered John Cena in front of my 8-year-old eyes. So he was there as well. But another two that kind of grasped my attention was Enzo and Cass. You probably know this. I sent you many messages asking for their merch that's no longer available. Irish guys as well, Finn, Jordan Devlin, Paddy Morrow as well. A lot of other guys, but it was mainly John Cena. Like I'm a chain gang soldier at heart.
Awesome. In terms of terms of other promotions, what else do you look at? Do you watch AEW at all? You're obviously a fan
Yeah,
of OTT.
yeah, big OTT fan. I fell in love with that in February 2019. I went to one of their shows. I think it was in the basketball arena in Tala. Amazing. Like it was nothing like I'd ever seen before. Like indie wrestling is just it hits different because there's a lot more opportunities that you won't get with WWE. Like characters you can relate to. It's not that I couldn't relate to characters in WWE. Well, there weren't many, but like the lads from the flats, like Martina, the Kings of the North, like these are characters that you have encountered at some point in your life, and everything's just different. Like the promos were different. It was over 18s, well not over 18s. It was a all ages show, but like swearing and stuff. Like I hadn't heard that before. It was well, not that I hadn't heard before, but when I was watching, like originally as a kid, like it was all PG. Like there was no such thing as swearing. The most swear words were like bitch, butt, and ass and stuff like that. And just the fans. Like I went to a live show, WB live show in 2017, but indie wrestling energy, like nothing beats it. Nothing beats it. And I could meet wrestlers as well. And I made a lot of friends there. Like two of my friends that I met at the first show, I actually still talk to today. And they told me everything I need to know about wrestlers and storylines. So that made it really easy. And then I went to their 50th year anniversary show. And I was actually a fan. Like I knew the chants, I knew the wrestlers, I knew what to say, and it was phenomenal. And I was supposed to be going to Scrapmania 6, and then Corona said, "Sorry, did you want to go out? Not on my watch, buddy." And then that got cancelled, and I didn't get a show. I didn't get a ticket to the Belfast show, but I am still watching that. AEW as well. I don't watch Dynamite. Like I have a life. I have things to do. My brother's a big fan though. Like he's one of these what I call he's going to be watching this. He's going to be angry when I say this, but he's probably one of what we'd call a mark. Like he doesn't tend very well to criticism. He'll criticize WWE, but then if I go, oh, the AEW do that, he'd be like, are you trying to start a fight? But yeah, I find it's not fair for me to say, oh, AEW sucks if I don't check it out because I do. And they do have some good stuff, but I do feel their bad stuff overshadow it.
And so, in terms of your collection, let's start having a chat about some of these classic DVDs. We know you have a lot, so we picked out a kind of. We asked you to pick out your top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know must have been a difficult task.
It was a very difficult task because the thing is, I have so many DVDs. There's some of them I haven't watched, and some of them, like some of them are good because there's only one good match. I kind of went for ones where like the rest of the card was solid. So not many Royal Rumbles here, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Should I pull them up now? Or?
Yeah. Let's start going through them, and you can
All right.
Give us a rundown on them.
Here's just some of them. I think I actually cracked 100 DVDs the other day. Wow. I know my parents listen to this like, oh my God, what have we rare? He's got 100 DVDs. He'll never get married. He'll never get a girlfriend. He'll never get to college.
Cavan's very own Chartbusters, but just for wrestling.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So much money. They're like, Christ, like that's a student loan worth of DVDs. What are we raring? All right. We'll get into the lore some other time. One I've got right here, Unforgiven 2006. Obviously, you got some sick matches on that. John Cena and Edge, and was it? Yeah, it was. No, TL was it? Oh my God, this is one of my favorite papers, and I don't know the match. TLC. Okay, sorry, I was just a bit worried. I thought it was going to be just louder. You got that. You got DX and the McMahons against Big Show and the Hell in a Cell. Johnny Nitro and Jeff Hardy in a pretty good match. I just like the blood factor. Like I find, obviously, when I was growing up, it was all PG. I rarely saw blood, so I wanted to get introduced to this. And a lot of wrestlers that weren't around at this time, I discovered, and some of them are now my favorite. That's the great thing about the DVDs. Like I have so many great shows and so much resources, and I can just like watch it whenever I want.
I like with that one as well. Most of their DVD covers are quite colourful, and they give away some of the results and stuff like that.
Oh my God, one, yeah.
It's Unforgiven, and it's like it's dark. It's a dark cover,
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool as well.
It's different as well. I feel WWE used to put a ton of effort into the cover of their thing, and then they have one of my DVDs, the Royal Rumble, and it's literally just a bunch of lads and lasses standing in a row.
Yeah, they literally now just use the poster.
Yeah,
They
like
take the easy
they've
way
given
out.
up. They've given up. And the worst thing about the Rumble DVDs is on the spine they have the winners.
Yeah.
So like on 2020 they have Charlotte on the top and Drew on the bottom. Like that's fine for me. But let's say there's a wrestling fan who's like, oh, I want to get into wrestling. Oh, the Royal Rumble, that looks great. Oh, I wonder who won. And then they look at the side and they see.
Yeah, I think probably the assumption they're making is because the DVDs normally take about 3 months to come out.
Yeah.
At that stage, if you don't have the results, you're way out of touch. How
Yeah.
you're watching TV or anything then, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. They need to do something about that.
Yeah.
So after Unforgiven, we got one that I actually got from you from very good retailer WrestleMania for a very reasonable price. Get your DVDs from them, support local.
Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem. ECW, It Ain't Seinfeld, 1998.
Nice.
I think this DVD, it's not like one that like wows you at matches. Like the matches are fine, but it's a good show, but the crowd make it a great show. And that's one of the great things about ECW. And unfortunately, it's not going to be the first time you're going to see that company in these DVDs. Sabu versus Danny Doring, that was a bit sad. I felt bad for Danny Doring. I'm actually wearing a Sabu shirt right now.
Nice.
So I was happy to see him kick ass. Chris Candido versus Jamie Dundee. I discovered Chris Candido. I found out he died after that. It wasn't great. Bam Bam Bigelow and Axel Rotten, that was really good. Rob Van Dam and Mikey Whipwreck. Mikey Whipwreck's a guy that I kind of grown on. I found him a lot and I'm really into his stuff. Rob Van Dam obviously is great. What else? FBI versus Blue Meanie and Supernova. You know, it's just classic ECW. It's really good. And then Dudley Boys and Sandman against Tommy Dreamer and Spike Dudley. I mean, the Dudley Boys promos in ECW. You talk about heel heat. There's like boo, I don't like you heat. There's go away heat, and then there's I'm going to put a bullet in your head heat, and that's what Dudley Boys got. It was insane. Yeah. And then the late New Jack came out and bashed people with guitars overhead. It's just fun. Yeah. Like the ECW shows are not that well put together, but they don't have to be. Like they're just great crack, and they're just so much fun to watch. I think.
Yeah, we recently did an episode on New Jack when he passed away. And stuff
I watched that. It's really good. It's really,
the one thing that came through was the promos were just
that OJ Simpson one was absolutely another one down. Yeah, God rest his soul. Another one. If you want variety, I'm afraid you're in the wrong space, my friend. I got another one. One Night Stand 2005. I think this is like the first ECW DVD I got, and then it led me to get other DVDs. So I watched this. Lance Storm and Chris Jericho in a really good match. Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. The match itself wasn't great because like JBL and the Invaders had just turned up and the crowd are focused on them. But you know, Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, it's a bit of history. Yeah. Tommy Dream and Sandman versus the Dudleys. Dear Jesus. The only downer I'd say would be this is the DVD. So this is released under WWE and they didn't have the rights to enter Sandman. So Sandman came out to like WWE 2K19 generic music 04, which is really sad.
I have a trick for that. What I do is when he's coming out, what I do is I mute it and I play Enter Sandman.
Yeah, I watched it on my DVD player, my headphones in. You can kind of hear Enter Sandman, but like it's not the same. Yeah. I think like ECW, like I'd never seen anything like this before, so I'm like, this is class. I want to get their next show, which led me to buy. Where is it? One Night Stand. You're probably wondering why it's wrapped up. One Night Stand 2006. A good friend of mine is a big wrestling fan. His birthday is tomorrow, 4th of July. I don't know when it's coming out. And I'm giving this to him as a gift because it's that good of a show. And I can't be asked to like unwrap it for the podcast and wrap it again. I don't have the time or the patience. I mean,
we'll believe you.
Yeah, exactly. I promise. It's definitely not December to Dismember. Oh, speaking of December to Dismember, I watched this same One Night Stand. Loved it. I'll get the next show. December to Dismember. Oh, this looks good. And the sad thing is, I got that from Kex, so I paid money for that. Brutal. Just. I mean, when I watched it at the time, I was like, "Oh, it's not too bad." But then when I found out like the story behind the book and like Paul Heyman wanted CM Punk to go over, Vince said, "No, this is my show. Stay in your lane," and then put Bobby Lashley over. And the fact that Test was in the match and Hardcore Holly. When I think of ECW, I think of oh yeah, Hardcore Holly, yeah. The Innovator of Violence Test.
Yeah, and then when it went sideways, then they pinned it on Heyman, didn't they? And that's when we had the Stephanie McMahon, Paul Heyman row and all.
Jesus, I think Paul Heyman just told Vince, people are going to think this booking is shit. And then Vince sacked him and goes, Paul, why didn't you tell me the booking was going to be bad?
Yeah, I think he pinned it on Paul. I think he was nearly giving the impression that Paul had booked it.
Yeah, Paul got fired. I think it would have been a much better show if the people who wanted to go over went over. And if the main event had more than one ECW original, like as far as I know, Sabu was supposed to be in it, and then he was injured and replaced by the charismatic enigma Bob Holly. So by the time the main event was set in stone, there was one ECW person in it. And CM Punk as well. If he won, that would have been great because a lot of people were into him and he got eliminated first.
They could just drop the December and just leave it dismember.
Yeah.
The whole thing was dismembered.
And I'm tempted to dismember that box and burn it and bury it, but I'm also tempted to sell it. But I don't want anyone to be in the position that I was in to start getting into wrestling and then give me money for December to December. I don't want that at all.
Which was the one where JBL went in on the blue meanie? Wasn't it like a...
that was
a bit of a punch up in the corner. Was that
the
first or the second one?
That was 05, I think.
Yeah, and which was the one where Cena was throwing the shirt out to the crowd? They kept throwing it back in. That was unbelievable.
That's 2006. That was something else. I think if a crowd could be in the Hall of Fame, that crowd have to be in the Hall of Fame. Like they just hit different. I think Sabu and Rey Mysterio had a great match as well, but it was a bit disappointing because you think of Sabu, like he tore his bicep open on barbed wire. And just taped it up. He broke his neck in a match and it's just thrown out by DT on the outside.
Yeah, I was at an OTT show as well and I seen him leave a couple of ribs in the ring as well.
Oh, Jesus. I were you at that show? I actually watched it on the
I was at that show, all right. Yeah, that was the show where I think the wrong table went in and he went to try and crossbody, I think, through like an oak table. This looked like not a wrestling table. The thing just didn't give and I think he snapped his ribs or something.
Jesus. Like, that's just another day at the office for him, though. He's like, oh no, my rib. But anyway, what was I doing? I feel with indie shows, like New Japan's not indie, but like other shows that aren't WWE, I find with a smaller ring, I find matches like tables and ladders and stuff like that really awkward. Like I was at 50th anniversary OTT in October in 2019, and LJ Cleary and Scotty Davis had a ladder match, and the ladder was just kind of big, and the ring was just like that. I was close to the ring, like I was in the floor, so I could see the ring was kind of like that. Yeah. So it looks really, really, really awkward. I don't know how it works. And the ladder didn't even break, and the ladder caused him some issues as well. They are cursed, those matches, I swear. So that is when I stand. I promise.
Two very, very good wrestlers.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely the future. Definitely the future of OTT. Another one. It's not necessarily. I think the main event. It's good. Like again, the crowd make it even better. And it's John Cena. You probably know where I'm going with this. Money in the Bank 2011. I always enjoyed the Money in the Bank matches, apart from when James Ellsworth and Brock Lesnar win them. But they used to do them right, and Sin Cara, I think, actually got injured in one of them.
Yeah.
So there's a fun part of that. There's a decent Randy Orton and Christian match where Christian just spits in his face, and that's it. That's your world title match, feuding over saliva, and obviously Cena and CM Punk. I think I saw a sign there. If Cena wins, you riot. I think if Cena beat Punk, they would have like thrown trash at the ring and go boring and change the channel. If he won at ECW One Night Stand, he would die. Like they had all the motivation to do it, and they get away with it. Rightly so.
Well, whatever about escaping from one of those big stadiums, you're not going to escape from one of those small ballrooms with an ECW crowd.
Absolutely not.
In the words of another good pay-per-view, there's no way out.
Oh, speaking of no way out, I have that as well. 2004.
Nice.
John Cena, yeah, he would have died. He did die as well. He tapped out as well, which is strange. I never seen him tap out, but it was Thuganomics John Cena. It wasn't like Super Cena. Eddie won his first world title. I mean, obviously that's good. Nidia and Jamie Noble. Jamie Noble must wrestle blindfolded. I got nothing. Like, who approved that? I refuse to believe that someone said, yeah, that's a good idea. Rey Mysterio and Chavo, that was good. I remember I actually watched the end of it with my mom, and my mom got really angry because Chavo won with the roll up with the tights.
Yeah.
So, you see, there's something for everyone on these DVDs. It is very nice. What else? Oh yeah, Charismatic Enigma, Hardcore Holly against Rhino. APA versus the world's greatest tag team. I don't think they were, but they were okay. Apparently, according to WWE, they put out a thing. New Day are the world's greatest tag team. I tend to disagree. Yeah. I do not agree with that at all.
So who was it for you?
I don't know. I think it's not just about like quality, it's about character and memorability. I'd say now I know I'm gonna get like a load of like people who've been watching it for so long, like you or Ian or anyone else in the four Podmen. I'd say maybe because I found them as a teenager and they were appealing to a teenager, I have to go with DX. I know I'm going to get people like, oh my God, this young Mark has no idea what he's on about. What about the Four Horsemen and the Road Warriors? They just weren't around at my time, and I haven't seen enough.
Well, you see, the beauty of these episodes is this is your episode, not anyone else's. So it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, exactly. I'm good. There's going to be a very fiery comment section, but I'll combat them. I live with an AEW fan. I'll be fine. Trust me.
So Sean's ready for you. If you want to come at him in the comments, he's ready.
Yeah, go on. See what happens. This is a bit of a no-brainer, and I feel like I'm cheating a little bit with this. This is the latest DVD that actually came, and I haven't watched it, but I read about one of the matches. Obviously, I know about another match. I watched another one of the matches because I have a DVD on ladder matches, and this match was on it. It's a bit of a no-brainer. I'm sure you would have put this in as well. Mania X7. That Rock and Steve Austin match just hits different. I feel like Ruthless Aggression Attitude. It's different. There's a different level of excitement for it than like what you get in like.
Yeah, if you look at the documentary, the background to that match and everything is fantastic.
Is that's the A&E one, isn't it?
No, they did. Didn't they do the Mania of WrestleMania, and it's like a little extra on the Mania 20 DVD.
Oh,
and the documentary gives you the background to Safeco Fields and stuff like that. It's unbelievable.
I actually have Mania 20 as well on DVD. I don't know why I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it talks about the issues that Austin was facing in the background and stuff like that.
That was that the domestic abuse thing?
No, I think he was just, he was hurting as well and stuff like that, but it just, I just remember that, even that walkway, the way it bent around with that corner and all was really, really cool.
Attitude Era just hits different.
Yeah. It brought the fans really into it because it seemed like the walkway was forever and the fans were kind of on top of you.
Yeah,
so it was really, really cool.
It was what wrestling was, alternative and kick-ass mid-2000s, but now it's just a circus.
Yeah.
A circus, like, with everything that should be there is not there. And AEW provides that, and OTT provides that, which I do commend. Obviously, the TLC match, I mean, Dudley's, Edge and Christian Hardy's phenomenal. Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon in Street Fight. Nothing like father and son killing each other on live television.
That's it.
For a price. I think I'm running out. I've got 2 DVDs left. It might not be a popular one, but One Night Stand 2007. I talked about ECW. I like these stipulation matches, and John Cena and Great Khali. John Cena gets a lot of shit, but if you can drag all 300 pounds and 7 feet 1 inch of Great Khali to a serviceable pay-per-view match, I think that's a good job. That's a good day done.
I suppose looking back on it now, it's when you see the evolution of Bobby Lashley, it's fantastic, in terms of where he was to where he is now.
Yeah, because he's just another big guy, like here, and now he's WB champion. It's
just mad that it takes 14 years.
Yeah. To
peel back those layers and find that Bobby Lashley,
Yeah, I'm amazed Vince hasn't like changed his name to Bobby and put him in a vest. Instead of singlet stuff. My friend is another big fan. He's kind of casual, well, not casual, but like he wouldn't know about OTT and stuff. Like he's kind of just WWE. I've never seen anyone who hates Lashley as passionately as he does. Like he absolutely cannot stand him, and this is probably going to get. I'm not going to give his name. He'll probably get like assassinated for this. But we were talking about Eva Marie because somehow she's still employed, and I told her like, how do you like Eva Marie? And she said, she's a good wrestler. And I said, no, she's not. She's terrible. And I'm like, okay, well, name me one wrestler who she's better at wrestling than. And he said MVP. Yeah. If he was at a show, he'd probably like get his head caved in.
Especially at the moment, especially in that women's division at the moment, which is absolutely off the Richter.
I like how AEW, there's still things that I would change, but they have improved. WB are just shooting themselves in the foot. The women's tag division is just, I don't know.
But I think the overall women's division, in terms of the 2 single belts, I think they're doing an outstanding job.
Yeah. I think
what's going on there is fantastic.
Bianca's feud with Bayley's been a little flat. Like, she main evented Mania with Sasha, and she's like the first 2 black women, and it's all about like building the future and hopefully more black people get like more opportunities and women will get more opportunities, and that's all good. And then she fused with Bayley over a laugh.
I thought the Hell in the Cell match was really, really good.
Yeah,
Really enjoyed it.
I did enjoy that, and I think SmackDown's doing fantastic, but they are falling into the pattern of doing rematches. Like next week on SmackDown, we're getting Cesaro and Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Last night we had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I love both of them. Their matches are fantastic, and that Last Man Standing was great, but a bit much. And Bailey and Bianca's having another match. Like,
yeah, I think the problem for some of them is they're trying to, if you want, they're trying to go back into these kind of longer feuds again, if you like. So they kind of build them over time and stuff that, which I don't think is a bad thing. Plus, I suppose you have to remember as well. I mean, Sasha's taken a bit of time off. Becky's obviously taking a bit of time off. Ronda's out of the picture at the moment. So there's a pool of talent there. So the ones that they've brought up, you're kind of working them together. But if you keep the storyline going a little bit longer for a number of months, it kind of makes it more meaningful when the payoff is there. I think Bailey's character development has been incredible. I just think she's brilliant. Little things she throws out there, like it's annoying as hell, but she's doing a fantastic job.
At least it's not like I'm probably one of the only people that found the golden role models when Bailey and Sasha had a stranglehold over the COVID era. They got. I said I hate them, and then my friend's like, "Well, yeah, they're doing their job. That's what they're doing." But it was go away heat. It wasn't, "Boo, I don't like you, Bailey and Sasha." It was, "Boo, get off my television screen. You don't have the privilege of being on my television screen." Yeah. But now I think they are doing good. I think I saw a lot of people complaining about the rematches, like they're turning into Monday Night Raw. Like, why do people? If this wasn't for Roman, this would be the worst show on TV. But I think they're doing this, and the big payoff that you said is going to be when fans are back, and hopefully we'll get like new storylines, different matches, different people in the same building. But I don't know. It's
I think that Bailey character, when there's fans in the building, is going to be electric. I just think she's so cool and so sneery. The way she keeps on calling Bianca champ and all, and it's real condescending and all.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not worthy, but I'm calling you champ because I have to. I think the fans will play into that.
It's cheap heat. It's cheap heat, but it works. Like it does work, and people hate her. Like I remember, as I was saying, when Sasha and Bailey were golden role models, I follow like a few meme pages on Instagram. And I found someone that started a petition to get Sasha and Bailey fired.
Well, look, the one thing we say, there is diversity in the wrestling fan base, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Another problem is you're saying with long feuds, fans just do not have the attention span or the patience for it anymore.
But then you see, when you get the short one hit wonder, which is like a 6-week build up onto a single pay-per-view and then forgotten, they're giving out, they're going, why is it washed away, and where's the credibility for the opponent and all that? So I kind of got to make up their mind.
Wrestling fans just are never satisfied, and I'm kind of proud to admit, like Drew McIntyre, like when he beat Brock at Mania, we were all so happy, and now he's in the Money in the Bank ladder match, and people are like, he's starting to become 2015 Roman Reigns. I don't know if it's that bad, because there are some people that like Drew.
I think with Drew, I think he was just so unlucky with COVID. I think if he'd had been fans in there and stuff like that, I think it would have been a different situation.
Yeah,
they would have went crazy for him.
Mania was so good this year, though, when he actually got that pop in front of fans. I think when you talk about people who carried eras, Cena carried PG, Austin carried Attitude, and Performance Center, Drew carried that. And I'd say Thunderdome, maybe. I'd say maybe the Hurt Business, God rest their soul. I think they carried that.
I don't know how you carry a Thunderdome situation. You just
dreary dome. I've been in there a few times. I actually caught myself on camera, but like, I can't. I cannot hear another piped in cheer again. I can't do it. I cannot wait for fans to get back. They can't come back any sooner. Like especially with AEW, with Double or Nothing. The last show, Revolution, I didn't enjoy it at all. Well, not that I didn't enjoy it, but they always start the hour later, and they are just too long. Yeah. Like we give out about Raw being 3 hours, 4 hours for a pay-per-view is ridiculous. Like I think in America they're saying, oh, it goes past midnight. How do you think us in Europe feel? Like I think Double or Nothing, like when the Inner Circle were giving the finger to MJF and the pyro's going off, it just turned 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I could see light in my blind. Like,
and see, what people forget as well, when you go to these and you attend them as a fan, remember, you're not walking in at the first bell. You could be there for an hour and a half, 2 hours before it even kicks off, soaking in
Yeah.
the atmosphere and stuff like that. So like it's if you think of a 4 or 5 hour show, I went to Mania 35. I was there for 8.5 hours. You know what I mean?
I know.
And
I want to go to Mania someday, but the length of it puts me off. Like if they stick to the 2 night format, which I've heard they're not doing, I think next year and the year later they're doing 1 night. It would be more durable because it gives the card a chance to breathe and it gives you a chance to remember stuff. And it's just so much easier to watch. Like, let's say, would you like to watch this movie? Oh, yeah, it's 6 hours long. Or would you like to watch these 2 movies? One is 3 hours and then you can wait like a day or two and watch the other one.
Yeah, no, I think the idea of the 2 nights, I think, is a good idea. I know some people don't like it because you have to buy 2 tickets. But in fairness, this year, even with the 2 nights, they priced the tickets accordingly. You know what I mean? So it wasn't too bad. But I'm all for that because, to be honest with you, when I go over with the lads, as you can imagine, our build up. I mean, we do those, the parking lot stuff and all that kind of stuff. So we're nearly walking in the door, sozzled at that stage. They're long trying to sit through 8 hours of it. Then, you know what I mean? So and I also think it gives the opportunity. It gives them more time in each of the matches to make it more meaningful to get your stuff in, but it also allows you to build up a couple more, if you like, main event level kind of stuff because they've more time, so it makes it all so much more meaningful. I'm all in on the 2 nights. I really like it.
Like my friend told me when we were talking about Mania in the Performance Center, no fans, he said he loved the 2 night idea because if it was a 1 night 8.5 hour slog, Otis would not have been on that card. Pre-show battle royale maybe, but like definitely not like a singles match on the
So
card.
I'd rather see them use the people rather than when they get this rush thing where they have to have a 10-man battle royal or something where they're just getting you on the card for the sake of it and they're just lumping people into the ring. I much prefer if they set up like little tag matches and stuff like that to include people and you get a bit more on it if you like, you know.
Yeah, I like how they try to get everyone on the card. I appreciate that, but like it just seems a bit lazy. It's like we only care about a certain number of people, like the main event title matches. What about me? Oh yeah, battle royal. And the problem is, it feels insignificant. Like I forgot that Carmella won at 36. Like if there was something to do with that, like if that battle royal got you a title shot or something, maybe you'd remember it. Like it just feels like such a waste. I never watch it really. It's too much. I think 6.5 hours of rest is just enough for me. I don't need the extra 2 or 3 in the pre-show.
Absolutely.
I forgot we were supposed to be talking about DVDs.
No, not a problem. We're all about segueing on these shows.
Yeah, I got one more. And talking to the Royal Rumble 2020. The only thing that I'd say that put me off was Charlotte winning. I do not like that woman. I'm sorry. I know she's good, but you talk about Drew McIntyre getting shoved down her throat and Roman Reigns. She's female equivalent of that.
Well, I think she's kind of she's absolutely excellent. There's no doubt about it. She carries herself like a champion. She presents herself like a champion. I like the way she's developed herself outside of her father's shadow. I think it's really, really important. But she sort of got thrusted into a situation there as well. As I said, Ronda headed off. Becky, obviously having the baby, headed off, took time off and stuff like that, So her dance partners kind of left. And she had to kind of slot into a situation there. And I think, again, I think she's doing an excellent job. I really, really like the way she wrestles. Her presentation is excellent. I think she really brings the best out of people as well. Like when you see her wrestling there against, I think the Rhea Ripley one is a little bit difficult because Rhea's so good as well, but she's so young. But I think she's kind of a darker character. So it's kind of, you're trying to figure out, you got this kind of Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome dark kind of character. And then on the other side, you have the glitz and the glamour and the presentation of a generational history type of thing. And it just, I think it's the characters that don't really mesh more so than the work. I also think with Rhea as well, I think she's kind of she oversells a little bit on some of the stuff in terms of her squealing and her shouting.
I think a lot of that, I hear a lot of people saying, well, Charlotte doesn't sell, and when she does, like, she doesn't like sell like that much. But I wouldn't agree with that. I think she does her best. But the thing is, I was thinking about this, like, there's a big argument. It's not even an argument. I think it's kind of a fact now. She is getting like this kind of privileged status because of her name. It's like if let's say I went to WB and my name is Sean, you think of people with greats there. Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, Sean O'Hare. Shawn Michaels is a good one. It's like if I go to WB and I get all the opportunities that Shawn Michaels got, or Sean Waltman or Sean O'Hare, because my name is Sean. And it's not a sensible way of building someone up. It just kind of feels a bit lazy.
I don't know. I think you're not at the stage where you're building Charlotte up, and I think she's definitely put the work in. She's definitely earned it because I mean, if you look at the stuff Charlotte even did down on NXT, I mean, she was a huge part of that women's evolution down on NXT.
I don't think her
she's
run
put the work in.
Yeah. I don't think her run when she got the title off Rhea the first time in NXT did much. She didn't really put anyone over, I don't think. And then when she lost to EO in your house, she didn't get pinned either.
Yeah, but I think they were building her a certain way. You know what I mean? And then you see then the dad comes into the picture and stuff like that, and you're getting that kind of involvement. And I think she was quick to understand as well that if you want the legacy and the longevity of your career, she had to step out of that kind of shadow, the Flair shadow, if you like, and become Charlotte. And I think she's done an excellent job of that. I think she's absolutely, and again, it's always opinion, but I think she's absolutely top.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I've nothing only good stuff to say about Charlotte. I think she's focal there and very important. I think the run obviously with Rhea, I think kind of comes across a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I think
if
you put Charlotte in there with a Bailey or a Sasha or any of them, you're getting a 5-star match. You're ready to get something on it,
I think it's not her in-ring ability that like sets people off. I don't think I've heard I've heard a lot of people say things about Charlotte, but I don't think I've ever heard someone say, well, she can't wrestle, she's really bad in ring. It's just her booking. If she was booked well but had like the ability that she had, it would be good. Meanwhile, Eva Marie can barely do a front row and is like dominating the women's division. Well killing the mid card like Asuka and Thing and Doudrop or Piper Viper Niven or whatever.
Yeah, but I think when you bring someone back in like that, I think you have to book them a certain way to kind of get the crowd invested. And because it's happening in the mid card, it's kind of not as significant in so far as it could damage that mid card. I think it's a push towards a certain way. And with Eva Marie as well, I think she has been putting in some work. We've seen it in some of the documentaries and stuff like that. She has been putting in a shift, but I don't know. It's you just gotta figure this out as you go.
The problem is
when you step up into a Bailey or a Sasha level, or even when you look at NXT, Raquel Gonzalez and Amber Moon, unbelievable. Unbelievable. You know what I mean? The wave of women's talent there at the moment is incredible. There's very few women in there at the moment plying their trade that aren't acceptable as a world champion. They're all pretty good at this stage.
I think a lot of the women on WB are better wrestlers than what they're giving away or what they're allowed to give away. Like the women's tag division, it's literally like, Niall, you're from Ireland. Sean, you're from Ireland too. Let's make you a team. Oh, you're wearing a hat, so are you. You're a team. Like it's just thrown. It's like my DVD thing. It's just thrown together. I just pulled it out like no effort thinking. Like I just whipped it out the shelves, put them in some sort of serviceable order, and then just said.
I think the problem is in terms of the booking of the women's division, because they have the tag belts there, but I think the main focus is on the two main belts, and I think the tag division is in there because they're drenched so heavily in women's talent. They need to feel that they have to put a set of straps in there to create a bit of significance in that sort of mix below the kind of Charlotte, Bianca, Sasha, Bailey, Rhea level, and then obviously if good things start to come out of that, then obviously those people can sort of like, either swerve and break up and step up into that next level, if you like. But I agree with what you're saying in terms of the focus on the tag belts, but I think they're just so focused on those two top belts at the moment, plus what they're doing in NXT. I think the other belts are put in there and they're told, girls, you get on with this. Here's a couple of straps here. Try and make it relevant, you know what I mean? And I think that's all it is. But again, you're looking at someone like Natalia in there who's absolutely, women's wrestling royalty, if you think about it. She's the gatekeeper in there, you know what I mean? And that's still fantastic, you know what I mean? I mean, Natalia winning a world title, who would complain? No.
Yeah, I didn't. I was happy with it. I was happy enough with it. I think what was I going to say? It's kind of sad because I remember people were campaigning. I think it was like late 2018. People were campaigning for women's titles. Like there's tag titles. Why isn't there women's titles? Because the women's revolution was in full swing. Like they were getting the opportunities. And then Vince dressed up as Santa and said, "Ho ho ho, women's tag titles coming," and everyone was really happy. But then I think as soon as Sasha and Thing won them, they had no plan for them at all.
Yeah, it's going to
It's
be
like-
careful. It's be careful what you wish for, because then when you get it, like it's just introducing titles is not an easy thing either. You know what I mean? You have to put in all that background stuff as well that supports it and makes it significant.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like that line from Father Ted. I think it's the episode where he kicks Bishop Brennan up the arse. They're in bed and they're talking about what they're going to do, and Dougal goes, "You know what, Ted? I'm thinking of a plan. I haven't thought it through. It might not work." But he says the plan, and then he's like, "I didn't know he had to follow up one idea with like a few small good ideas."
Yeah.
That's the
that
thing.
sums it up exactly, doesn't it?
They give something. I like if they give us, like, let's say Cesaro gets a title run, a world title run. We all want that, and I'd be happy. But I want a plan, and if they don't have a plan for that, then keep it. It's like this podcast. Like if you told me, Sean, would you like to go on? I'd be like, yeah. What do you want to talk about? And then you're like, what do you mean you want to talk about? I might kind of rescind the offer. You need to have a plan for these things the fans want, because they're not going to work.
Needs to be substance. Needs to be substance.
Needs to be substance.
We don't want Cesaro eventually getting the belt, and then he only has it for a month, and they go, "Oh, this is not working," and they whip it off him. That kind of way. And it's look, go away. We gave you your title type of thing.
Plan. I feel like back in the day, like particularly with the pay-per-views, like No Way Out 2004, they build that like, okay, guys, so we have No Way Out coming up, and the matches on this, we know what we're doing. We'll build to Mania, and we'll have that time to build the Mania. Now it's Mania's built like, oh shit, Mania, random match. That'll do the job.
Yeah.
I think Vince has really lost his touch, and I'm sorry to say he has. We need Triple H, because like back then, times have changed, and what we would want in wrestling is different. Like I have few. Do you know those Attitude Collection DVDs?
Yeah.
Like Best of Raw. I have a few of them. Like I look back on them, like the thing like Val Venus getting his thingy cut off by Ken on Ty. I look at that and I laugh, but if that was to happen now, I wouldn't like it. And Triple H knows what the fans want. Like NXT takeovers, why do people say they're better than the main roster shows?
Yeah, well, I always say that to people. Sometimes people come on and they talk about the Attitude Era and stuff like that. And I often say to people as well, yeah, there was really good stuff in there with Austin and all these other things.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of crap in the Attitude Era as well, that people tend to go, oh, yeah, but we don't really want to talk about that. We just want to talk about Austin. You know what I mean? So I say, no matter what era you look at, you're always going to get a certain amount of really good stuff and a certain amount of stuff that's just going to throw away good stuff.
It's like Ruthless Aggression. This might be a bit of a hot take, but I almost prefer Ruthless Aggression to Attitude, because I feel Attitude was targeted at adults, while Ruthless was like adult teens. And like I look back at Ruthless Aggression and I'm like, oh my god, why can't we get Ruthless Aggression, like TV-14, blood, all that? But I look back and there is some bad stuff. But you're like, Ruthless Aggression, yeah, it's great. What about the bad stuff? Yeah, DX's one was really good. I love that. What about the other thing? No, I talked about bad stuff. John Cena, he was great, wasn't he? Like fans need to learn that there was some good things and bad things.
I mean, even as great as Cena was, there's no doubt about it. But even some of his booking at time was a bit haphazard and all over the case and forgettable.
Like I've made it no secret. Like you see that poster, that one. All my John Cena shirts I'm not going to show. I'm wearing a John Cena chain. When like one thing that I was actually watched back on was Extreme Rules 2012. That's when Brock came back from the UFC and targeted Cena. When Cena won as a child, I rejoiced because he overcame a monster. But now I look back on it, I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, how? And I still love Cena, but I look back on some stuff that he done, and I'm like, if that was to happen to anyone else, like Roman or Drew, I'd be angry, because I think the same thing. Like, surprisingly, there are some children that like 2015 Roman Reigns. Somehow my brother was one of them when he was like 16 years old. But we hate it. Like adult fans and teenagers absolutely hate him. But kids are gonna look back and go, "Oh, that was great. That was great." And that's just how life goes. We all have different opinions. Some people see good in bad, and some people see bad in good.
Well, see, the beauty for you being a DVD collector as well is you can form an opinion on it, and then if your opinion changes, you can whip it back out, and you're not worried about
Yeah.
Peacock sanitizing it. You have the fresh copy
God.
there, and you can go through it and you can analyze it for what you want it to be.
I was talking to you on Twitter about this the other day. There is two pandemics. There's the coronavirus and there's Peacock. Like, I am so happy I'm not in the US. Like, the great thing about these DVDs is Peacock have like censored tons of stuff.
Yeah.
But I have like these DVDs and I can go back and I can watch it and I can see it has been censored. Like, I remember, I think it was it the late 90s? It was Raw. DX were doing the thing where they were taking the piss out of the Nation Domination.
Yeah.
Like, they had Triple H's The Croc, and they had Jason Sensation as Owen Hart. And then they had X-Pac as Mark Henry, and he was doing blackface. Like, you're not going to find a hint of that at all.
No, absolutely not.
And like a DVD, and if I was to get, what show was it? I can't remember what the show was, but do you remember John Cena's meeting up with Vince McMahon, and he goes, "Keep it up." I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to get cancelled by people who get offended on behalf of others.
And I suppose
Like,
there's certain things there that should be taken down because they haven't aged well, you know.
Yeah.
But then I think like it's interesting for me as well because a lot of people have stopped coming into me to sell their DVD collections, and I've also seen an upturn as well in people buying VHS again. So I'm not surprised at all because I think as this goes on and on and on and it starts to spread and move into Europe and stuff like that, I think people are going to be like cuddling their DVD and their VHS collection stuff like that because it's going to be absolute gold.
Yeah, I think the thing is though, like you talk about the network. Hi, I'd love to watch this show. You have to be a subscriber. The thing is, if I want to watch, let me see, if I want to watch ECW One Night Stand today or any day, I can literally just take the disc, put it in my DVD there, and watch it. And I've got everything. I've got all those matches, and I can watch this or any of my DVDs whenever I want. And I find that such a good guilty pleasure. Like, especially now, like when we're locked down, and Neil Martin is like, we should open the schools, or should we? We should open the schools, or should we? They're a safe environment, or like a lot of uncertainty, especially for young people. Like, their mental health is just deteriorating. When you have things like this, and all the other 90 or whatever DVDs I have, like, it's so good. And the thing is, as I said, like I'm a PG era kid. Well, Roots Aggression, I was born in 2004, but I started watching in PG. I've discovered so many wrestlers, like so many shows and teams and wrestlers through these DVDs, and these wrestlers weren't around my time. Like, people like these are strange ones, like Eugene.
Yeah.
He wasn't around when I was watching. Heidenreich, he's the best we actually don't talk about him. Yeah, like Orlando Jordan, I know he's not great, but the Bashams, Eddie, Chavo, all these people, like it's a thing. Like, I encourage wrestling fans, like people are trying to get into it, buy DVDs. Like, one thing I've been getting into is UFC. Recently enough, I just kind of found that. So I've watched a few fight nights. I watched Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori like a month ago, and I played the games, but also I was on holidays in Galway, and I got a few wrestling DVDs and one UFC DVD. And now I found people like Frank Mir. Well, I knew who he was because like they always talk about him with Brock Lesnar, and Hardy and Swick, and John Jones and Clay Guida and stuff like that. And I just feel it's a gold mine. That's what it is. And the thing is, they're so easy to get a hold of. Like, obviously, you sell them. I see a few new DVDs in Tesco in Calvin anyway. And like, is it Sex or Kex? This is a dirty line. I don't know how you pronounce it.
CEX.
Yeah.
Just CEX.
Probably. Family friendly. CEX, Facebook Marketplace, adverts.ie, done deal. I'd be getting a lot of stuff from there. Like, back in like 2005, if you were to buy this, you'd get it for like 13 or 20. But now I got this for €1. 3 if you can't ship it, but like €1. Like, it does not cost much for good wrestling. Like, good wrestling doesn't have to be what you're seeing on TV. It can be of the past. That's something I learned.
You're picking up a DVD now for the price of a bag of chips.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, yeah. And you pick up like 3 DVDs for like, it's like in a deli, 20 sausage rolls for 50 cents. In Kex, I could get like a whole year's worth of wrestling television for like €1. A whole year's worth of vinegar and urine scented wrestling DVDs for like 50 cents. And I also get a small sum of money if I bring them in, but I don't do that. I they're too close to me. I've formed a special bond with them, and I can't do that to them.
Well, listen, it's been a pleasure having you on, because I know from talking to you, you're a heck of a character. When we always talk about wrestling, there's always, we're never too far away from a bit of fun and a bit of crack talking about it and stuff like that.
It's the greatest thing in the world. So you have to interact with others, and like,
that's it, absolutely. No doubt your brother will be all over the comment section replying to some of the stuff you've said.
You know, when this comes out, when this comes out, he's probably going to watch this, and he's probably going to come for my head. He's going to put it.
Well, you know, he's more than welcome to come on if he wants to reboot with his own collection. There's not a problem at all. We welcome all the fans.
He only has like one DVD.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You get fans of all varieties. Like I saw those two guys I had on yesterday, like Hardy Boys memorabilia, figures, tiles, stuff like that. It's a great podcast. I'd recommend you all check out before Podmen and the whole Dynamo Podcast Network Cinematic Universe, because there is some good stuff.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Well, as always, Dynamo Podcast Network for the videos on YouTube. Head over there and support them.
Or Spotify.
Or Spotify for the audio versions of the show, Apple, iTunes, Podbean, all those good places for audio shows. And again, if you want to contact us, drop your comments in there. You
don't get to see my freckly ginger face, though.
Yeah, always drop in and
you don't get to see my freckly ginger face on the audio. So if you want to see the face, you want to see DVDs, YouTube is your place.
Well, listen, Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure. Twitter @TPodmen, and we will talk to you again real soon. Cheers, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure, man. Take care.